All right, so I am back with another bad good movie review. Today we have Mufasa, a Lion King story, or whatever it's called. So the movie starts off with Mufasa talking to all his cronies, like, what a beautiful day.
What a wonderful day!
Mufasa, I'm that guy. Look at my mane. Ain't it luxurious?
Sit back there and say my hair ain't luxurious when you know it is, bitch.
And then we see Nala off by herself because Nala is preggo and she about to pop out some cubs. So she go find a little spot to do her thing while Mufasa is giving his best Obama impersonation with Timon and Pumbaa still there, being weird, of course, groveling. They had added a little bit of levity into the movie, so they're still there. Then we meet Kiara, whatever her name is, Simba's rambunctious, hyper ADHD little daughter. So OG Rafiki comes in. He's like, listen up, little shorty, you gotta kick it with me today. I'm babysitting you. We're not doing all that running around. Sit down. I'm gonna tell you about your grandpa, Mufasa. So that's where the story kicks off. So we're back with young Mufasa, and Mufasa lives at home with both parents. Mufasa's parents got a real good marriage.
What's the matter, dog? You embarrassed? This guy's a gangster? His real name's Clarence.
So they show us, he's in his loving family, which basically means that tragedy is soon to strike. But anyways, we see him kicking it with his mom and dad. They living in paradise. They're like, oh, Mufasa, you're gonna grow up and be great, and we love you the way all parents should love their kids. Look at this paradise we live in. He's running around being a little brat, splashing everybody with water. So of course Karma splashes him with the flood that ultimately separates him from his parents forever. Flood leads him to meeting Taka, aka Scar. So I'm just gonna call him Scar for the rest of the movie because that's what we all know him as. He's actually kind of a little D-head because he's like, hey, guess what? A crocodile's coming to eat you. Watch out. Instead of just saying that right away. So they had this really cool scene right here where they kind of foreshadow what's gonna happen in the cartoon. But thankfully, Taka / Scar's mom comes and is like, yo, I told you stop playing around. So they take Mufasa to meet this dude who is Scar's dad, and he's like, bro, we don't chill with outsiders. We don't know where he's from. He might have fleas, he might have ticks. You can't bring this strange cub home. So in order to stay in the pride, Mufasa has to beat Scar in a race, which he does, because apparently he's like the fastest cub ever. That's like his claim to fame. He's like a lion mixed with a cheetah a little bit. So he wins the race and ends up getting to stay, and Scar / Taka's always wanted a brother, so they end up bonding. And then we see them grow up through this really cool, not cool, montage. Very bland, very basic, same thing they did before. Could have did something a little bit different at least. So now they're teens, they're stinking, they're going through puberty, they're not taking showers. So Scar's dad's like, look, y'all gotta go. Mufasa hangs out with the women, so he learns how to hunt, he learns how to talk to chicks. Scar, he been with the men. So these two crazy ashy white lions come out of nowhere, and Mufasa immediately gets busy. He's like, what's up? I'm down. What's good with it? But Scar runs like a little hoe.
This nigga's scared.
Scar runs away and leaves his mom and his brother hanging. So Mufasa gets busy, handles his business, ends up killing one of the ashy white lions, boom, and the other one runs away. So Mufasa goes back and he's like, they like, you a hero, Mufasa. But Scar, Scar ran like a little B-word, so his mom's kind of disappointed. His dad's like, son, I ain't trying to talk to you right now. And I love this scene right here in the movie where they have Mufasa positioned above all of the other lions, kind of showing how he'll be in charge one day. So great directing right there. As you can see, nobody's showing Scar love. So now we meet these other white lions. We don't know where they come from. We just know wherever they live, it make them real ashy.
Ashy Larry, Marcy Projects, Marcy son, what?
Like Ashy Larry Ashy. So yeah, there's that. So the one lion that survived, he go home, they kill him because they're evil lions, and then they run up on Scar's homies and his family, and they're like, yo, we taking over all of this.
Nigga, you gonna get down or you gonna fucking lay down?
Y'all weak. Y'all been laying around up here comfortable like Killmonger. We taking all this.
Y'all sitting up here comfortable. Must feel good.
King of the Ashy White Lions sings his song. It's not really cool. It's like something like, I'm gonna make you go bye-bye. So it's something like that. But the whole time he's threatening Scar's father and his family. They don't run. They just sit there. And probably the best scene of the movie, or what would have been the best scene in the movie, we don't see. His family gets murked off screen, so we don't see that. And Mufasa and Scar end up going on the run. We're back with Simba's rambunctious daughter, and then back to them getting chased by these ashy lions. They're like, we want our lotion. Give us our lotion. We tired of being ashy. But really, they want revenge for the cub that Mufasa killed when he was defending his mom. So the writer makes a good job of showing Mufasa is brave, Scar is a coward. And right here, Mufasa's like, yo, stop being a little hoe. We gotta fight. And Scar's like, nah, we gotta run. So being smart, they run because they're outnumbered, and they end up jumping off this waterfall into the water. One of them crazy female ashy lions comes, but she get ate by a crocodile. Boom, she out of there before she can even get to him. So then they end up meeting Sarabi and Zazu, right? So this is where they come into play. So immediately there's a shorty involved. Mufasa and Scar are gonna have beef. Now Rafiki coming to the story. We find out Rafiki, the people in his town, they like, man, he be talking to ghosts, he be talking to dead people, he be bringing in demonic spirits. We tired of him. Like, he curses, get him out of here. And Rafiki, he probably tripping shrooms and doing LSD. He's like, whatever, I'm out, I'll see y'all later. And then he run into Mufasa, and Mufasa was hungry and is like, bro, I'm about to eat you. And Rafiki, like, bro, it wouldn't even taste good, like, don't even do that, like, move out my way. So of course Mufasa's perplexed because he's like, I'm a roaring lion, like, you should be scared. And Rafiki's like, bruh, I will bonk you in the head with this staff if you don't leave me alone. So we got our foursome going on. We got Sarabi, we got Taka/Scar, we got Rafiki, we got Zazu, and they're trying to make it to the promised land, aka Malele, aka the Pride Lands. So that's where this foursome is trying to get to right now. Currently, Scar got a little problem because he feeling Sarabi. He been walking behind her, seeing those hindquarters, that tail swaying back and forth. So he like, Mufasa, bro, you hung out with the female lions. I need that game. But before he can shoot his shot, ashy white lions come back. So Mufasa ends up saving her from a stampede. He's like, I got you, Sarabi, I got you. So the ashy white lions can't get to him. But Mufasa, trying to look out for his boy, is like, yo, Scar saved you, Sarabi, I didn't save you. So he gave his boy, he looked out for him, he gave him the assist, he gave him the layup. So Sarabi's kind of feeling Scar now. She's like, oh, you're the one that saved me, that's what's up. And now we're back to suddenly Lord of the Rings, when they're on the misty mountain, the gray, frozen, suddenly it's snowy in Africa. So I don't know where the snow came from, but I'm just rolling with it. Apparently these lions have snow that is resistant to the fur, right? Or fur that is resistant to the snow. Like, this to me, I don't know where this came from. I guess it's the Disney magic where these countries in Africa have snow. So Scar is seeing that Mufasa and Sarabi, they vibing. And this suddenly completes his character arc from loving brother to jaded stepbrother. And he eventually, suddenly, immediately hates his brother because he gets jealous. So Scar is now Scar, basically, at this point. And he goes and is like, hey, ashy white lions, Mufasa killed your son. I can help you get to him. I'm the only one that knows the way because we covered our tracks. And I'm tired of Mufasa, so help me help you. Let's kill him. Very suddenly, like, went from kind of like goofy to, oh, I'm gonna kill my brother. So definitely not sure about that with the writing. Probably could have paced that out a little bit better. But nonetheless, he submits to the lion that killed his whole family just because he's jealous of Mufasa. So Scar comes back from plotting his stepbrother's demise. Nobody asks him where he's at. So Mufasa's like, hey, elephants, rhinos, zebras, help me. These ashy white lions coming, they gonna make y'all a buffet. It's better me than them. So all the animals stand up to the ashy white lions, kind of beat them up a little bit, scare them away. But Mufasa still got to fight these other lions. So this was a cool scene. It kind of was like that old video game Fight Night, because you had some pretty cool close-ups. But Mufasa falls in his hole, and then the king of the ashy white lions tries to get busy. So they start scrapping and rumbling, and Scar, referencing back the cartoon, sees his brother fighting, watching him from up top, and he's like, you know what, here's my moment of courage. My mom said I would have. He comes in, gets pimp slapped.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
What?
Bow. But he saves Mufasa from taking the shot, starts this huge freaking earthquake that creates Pride Rock. And this was a great scene at the end of the movie. Underwater, they're fighting. Mufasa's fighting for his life. Magical rock comes down. Magical Disney rock crushes cliche Disney villain. So that way our hero doesn't have to commit murder. And this scene was so well done, where he's pulling him out of the water instead of the fire. The evilness in Scar's face, well done, great directing. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. Mufasa is saved. Him and Sarabi finally get the date. Scar's like, all right, I'm good. You know what I mean? I did betray you, but I also saved your life, so you can't kill me. And we do get to see Mufasa reunite with his mom, who is in Malele, or the Pride Lands. And then Mufasa's like, look, every now and then I'm gonna brutally hunt, kill, suffocate, and eat one of you alive, but it's gonna be to support the circle of life. And then he tells Scar, look, I'm never gonna call you my brother, you're not Taka. So Scar's like, just call me Scar, so that way I'll always remember what I did. So we see Mufasa reunite with his mom. Him and Sarabi kick it off, and at the end, Scar's like, man, I'm gonna get you back one day, brother. I'm gonna get you back. So that's pretty much Mufasa. And before I go into the writing of the movie, if you're familiar with the 48 laws of power, it says when you have your enemy beat, destroy them completely. And if you watch this movie and you know what happens in The Lion King, you can see why Mufasa probably should have kicked Scar out of the Pride Lands. Never let a jaded man in your house, because eventually he will try to usurp you. But anyways, we're going to get into the writing of this movie, which wasn't bad. So let's talk about it. So if you're new here, what I like to do is just do a brief little summary of the movie and then really talk about the writing for a few minutes at the end, as that is my passion when it comes to film. When it comes to the plot, right, what is this story about? It's basically about how Mufasa and Scar end up meeting, and that story was told well. So I'll give the writer credit for that, considering that we already knew how these characters, their story ends. We know Scar dies, we know Mufasa dies. So for the writer to be able to pen a script that keeps you engaged with the stakes being limited, because we already know in the movie they're not gonna die, right? Because they make it to the cartoon Lion King. So how do you create stakes in this type of story where we already know they make it to the end? And I think the writer did a good job just putting a coherent plot together. The characters we're already familiar with, so we didn't have much room to play around with there with our core cast, such as Mufasa, Scar, Zazu, Timon, Pumbaa, Rafiki. But the writer did a good job introducing a adolescent Mufasa who was very brave, outgoing, courageous, ready to fight, and an adolescent Scar who always wanted a brother, so he kind of looked up to Mufasa. He was kind of coddled, he was like a house cat, you know what I mean? And they both were house cats, but Mufasa just was a little bit more brave. And as we all know, bravery, a lot of things start by being courageous and not scared to do things. So the writer did a good job letting us see how they would be if they were younger with those characters. Sarabi, who we didn't really get to know in the original Lion King, they did a good job writing her character. She was headstrong but also soft. She was kind of similar to Nala but a little bit more snappy. So I thought the writer did a good job creating characters and giving them all distinct voices. The characters I was not fond of was Scar's dad. I hated his voice. It sounded just like, it didn't have like the voice a lion would have. It wasn't intimidating. It didn't have very much gravitas, which maybe that was the point of his dad being kind of like an aristocrat. No pun intended to that Disney movie. But also the king of the Ashy White Lions. Maybe a little bit more backstory on him and why he wanted to take over. They gave him good motivation with Mufasa killing his son in self-defense as a reason for him to hunt Mufasa down. But it would have been cool to just get a little bit more backstory on the White Lions, the Ashy White Lions. And maybe that was a low-key shout out to Kimba the White Lion, which some people think Lion King was stolen from. So wrapping this up, dialogue, pretty solid. Nothing really stood out as far as catching me. The songs were not good. The Disney songs in these movies are just not good. You can't replicate the charisma and the originality of the OG Lion King songs. So the songs were trash, but the dialogue was enough to carry the movie. It didn't really stand out, but it was okay. The theme actually was good. I love the theme of jealousy because I feel like, if you were a parent watching this movie with your kid, it'd be a good lesson to kind of talk about the themes of jealousy and loving each other. And maybe, Mufasa's brave, but Scar was a little bit more intelligent. Scar was brave too, but at a different time. So I think it's a good teaching movie for adults and also for kids to learn from as well. So the theme was good. The originality, can't give it too much. The premise wasn't that original. The premise of two brothers being divided because they fall in love with the same girl. We've seen that before. Movies like Pearl Harbor, The Road to El Dorado, I think they kind of play with that. Overall, not a bad movie. It was watchable. And I think the bar is so low for movies right now, that especially Disney movies, that this was one of the better ones to come out. This definitely was better than the Planet of the Apes movie that came out this year, which I might review next. Mufasa, the Lion King story, whatever it's called, it's watchable. Give it a watch. If you got kids, give it a watch. Watch the OG one first and then watch this one. But here's my score for the movie.